Okay, this is the last video in a three-part series about the Internet Information Services server program. And this time we just completely focus on security. So going way back now, because we've been talking about 8 and 8.5 IIS, IIS 4 and 5 were affected by CA 2001-13 security vuln, which led to the infamous Code Red attack. So simple question to get us started, what year did the Code Red attack occur? And this question is also making sure you guys know when reading like CVEs or the CA, the year is inside of the vulnerability ID, basically. So with that knowledge, reading these vulnerability IDs should just be less intimidating. Now they go on to say that both versions 6 and 7 have no reported issues with this specific vulnerability. In IIS 6.0, Microsoft opted to change the behavior of pre-installed ISAPI handlers, many of which were culprits to the vulnerabilities in 4.0 and 5. ISAPI is the Internet Server Application Programming Interface. This question sounds so awkward, but I'm wanting to keep it. The question is, the behavior of what type of API is involved here? So I'm just trying to get you to say the Internet, what is that? Internet Server Application API. Or, okay, just programming interface. Internet Server Application Programming Interface. So the IS is the part of the API here. And it's the behavior of these handlers. Once you change that behavior, you reduce the attack surface of IIS. Okay, so a much better question. What are you doing when you change the behavior of the Internet Server API? You're reducing the attack surface of IIS in general. Now Wikipedia says in addition, IIS 6.0 added a feature called Web Service Extensions that prevents IIS from launching any program without explicit permission by an administrator. So no running executables unless the admin says it's okay. By default, IIS 5.1 and earlier run websites in a single process running the context of the system account, which is a Windows account with administrative rights. So what is the account name that has admin rights? And they are calling it the system account. They as in Microsoft. Under 6.0, all request handling processes run in the context of the network service account, which has significantly fewer privileges. There be a vulnerability in a feature or custom code, it won't necessarily compromise the entire system given the sandboxed environment. Alright, note to self, gotta fix that sentence. And since it's so awful, let's go ahead and make a question out of it so we ensure we are still learning. Okay, so which account has fewer privileges and exists in a sandbox? And that would be the network service account. And did I read that everything can only run in one process? Right here. So I just wonder how that looks at the low level, if that's really increasing the feeling of lag that people using IIS experience. Well, 6.0 also contained a new kernel HTTP stack called http.sys with a stricter HTTP request parser and response cache for both static and dynamic content. So we'll keep this question simple. What is http.sys? And the answer is it's a kernel stack. Kernel HTTP stack. I actually need to see the code to feel better about that. Okay, so according to Secunia, apparently is the name of a company, as of June 2011, so alright, speed forward in time here, so we're up to 2011, IIS 7 had a total of 6 resolved vulnerabilities, while 6 had a total of 11 vulnerabilities, out of which 1 was still unpatched. The Patch Security Advisory has a severity rating of 2 of 5. Alright, now we're jumping back into the past. 2007, a Google study of 80 million domains concluded that while the IIS market share was 23% at the time, IIS servers hosted 49% of the world's malware. Oh, that is a bad thing to be known for. And of course, compared to Apache servers, whose market share was 66%. Okay, so that is just so crazy. So simple question, in 2007, what percent of the world's malware could be found on IIS servers? Maybe that just goes to show you open source is king. Now the study also observed the geographical location of these dirty servers and suggested that the cause of this could be the use of unlicensed copies of Windows. Oh, okay, so that's their excuse. If you have unlicensed copies, then you can't get the security updates, Microsoft claims. Microsoft even goes so far as to say, even if you can't verify your genuine ownership of IIS, they're still going to supply you with security updates, so that's nice of them. They realize that having a reputation of 49% of the world's malware is not worth the price of forcing people to get this through legitimate ways, to get IIS through legitimate ways. I wonder how much IIS is. Okay, so after a very quick Google search, is IIS server free? And according to upguard.com, it is bundled on the Windows operating system, so sort of. Otherwise, they're saying it's free. But you have to pay for the computer that comes with Windows, or you have to pay for Windows to get it, so technically, it's just a part of a larger package. Anyways, back to security of IIS. The 2013 mass surveillance disclosures made it... What is this? What is 2013 mass surveillance disclosure? Alright, it looks like it's an ongoing news report in the international media revealing operational details about the NSA and its partners. Okay, this looks like it needs to be its own video. Very interesting. So in this disclosure, though, they made it widely known that IIS is particularly bad in supporting perfect forward secrecy. I was listening to a podcast this morning with a guest from Extra Hop, and he was describing the trickiness of perfect forward secrecy. But you as a listener, all you need to know is that it is a good thing to have. They say especially when used in conjunction with the Internet Explorer. And they say IIS is particularly bad in supporting this when used in conjunction with Internet Explorer. So yeah, that's not a browser I suggest anyone use. And I wonder exactly how it's poorly being implemented. When they open source Internet Explorer, maybe we can find out together. But to summarize the situation here, possessing one of the long-term asymmetric secret keys used to establish a HTTPS session should not make it easier to derive the short-term key, session key, to then decrypt the conversation. This is true even at a later time. Now you have your Diffie-Hellman key exchange and elliptic curve Diffie-Hellman key exchange. And in 2013, these were the only ones to have that perfect forward secrecy property. Only 30% of Firefox, Opera, and Chromium browser sessions use it, and nearly 0% of Apple, Safari, and Microsoft's Internet Explorer sessions. It's funny at the end here, somebody, whoever wrote this, just throwing Apple under the bus, along with Microsoft. And that sounds like a perfect way to end a video like this. And as I wrote this question, I'm looking to see if this is just a particular version of IIS. I just wrote 6.0 here. Maybe I'll just write 2 question marks because I don't know what version, if not all of them. But the question is what 2 browsers shouldn't be used to connect to these types of servers, at least if you are expecting perfect forward secrecy. Alright, that's it. I hope you enjoyed these 7 questions on the IIS security, a section of a Wikipedia article.